think we're live. Are you there?
I think so.
I think you're there. How's it going, everybody?
Hello.
Let me adjust you up really quick here. Say something again.
Hello, everyone.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, welcome you guys in chat. Thanks for coming back for the second week in a row to watch us do this crazy thing.
You're here.
I have to thank you for the support. Thank you, Joe Uncle, Cuddleboo, Nez, Boom King was in here. I think that's every. If I missed somebody, I'm really sorry. Once again, thanks for being here. We're gonna click record in a minute. So at that time, we won't be like interacting with chat or whatever, but encourage you guys keep talking, keep whatever. That's a hint to the L of the week. We'll be hitting audio here in just a second, and we'll be recording this thing because we will be putting it out onto iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. And I will tell you, as a result of your actions, we are the #1 podcast in the Wednesday night category for shows that are titled Over the Hump. So thank you guys for your support. We really appreciate it.
We're very honored. We're honored.
Very honored.
We're honored.
Okay. So bear with us just a second here. I'm going to click Joe. Joe Uncle, before we get started, thanks for the sub, buddy. Really appreciate it. There's no emote explosion right now because and I got to allow Cooley. Why did it block Cooley? No emote explosion. I'm sorry about that. I owe you one because we don't want the sound to get into the audio for this screen. So that's why it didn't explode like that. So anyway, guys, are you ready?
Ready to go?
Ready to go? All right. Give me just a second. I'm going to click record, and then we will be live. Welcome to the second Over the Hump podcast. We are glad you are back watching and listening again with us. Thank you for the support the first week. We certainly appreciate it. Once again, the Over the Hump podcast, we are here to get you over the hump, whether that be over the hump of the work week, over the hump of that difficult test that you had at university, over the hump with whatever issues you've been dealing with. We're here to take your mind off of that for a few minutes and hopefully entertain you a little bit. With that said, Amy and I are here. The first thing we want to do this week, a little switch up before we get into the wine or whiskey that we're drinking this week, is we want to do a couple shout outs. So every single week we want to recognize a member of the community out there who has listened to us via either the podcast or on the Twitch channel, and do a special shout out to you guys, and we'll do a special toast and cheers for you when we reveal what we're drinking tonight. I want to do the first shout out. First shout out is to Nez9 in the community. That's N3ZNINE at twitch.com if you're wondering, if you're listening in audio. He has been super supportive of us from the beginning, and we certainly appreciate it. He had a lot of questions that he put into the chat this week, and as a result, a lot of what we're talking about is based off of his questions. So thank you, Nez. Yeah, so that's my shout out of the week. Amy, what's your shout out?
Yeah, so much love to Nez. And I'm going to shout out Kujimaro at Twitch, because I grossed him out terribly with my chicken story, and he still listened to the rest of the podcast. So very, very thankful for you guys' support. There's so many of you guys out there that we're happy for and that we really respect. So thanks again, guys, and thanks Kuji for hanging in there even after my gross chicken story.
And if you don't know what the gross chicken story is, go back to episode 1. It is a great story. And yes, thanks to both of you guys. In the glass this week, we have whiskey and not wine. We'll break the fourth wall and just let you know that when you're 900 miles apart, it's easier to find a common bottle of whiskey than it is a common bottle of wine. So we're going back to one of our favorites this week, which is Four Roses single barrel. What are your thoughts of Four Roses single barrel? And how does that rank, Amy, in your list
It's
of bourbons?
it's very drinkable, very smooth.
We talking top 10?
Probably, yeah. I think just because it's easy to drink. It's very smooth. It's very caramelly to me. I like it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's one of the best values you can get. I think it's in that 30 to 35 US dollar range, and it's incredibly good and a great step up from the entry level Four Roses, which is a great mixer and very drinkable on its own. But if you're looking to just pour it into a glass with an ice cube, recommend Four Roses single barrel. So, cheers, and cheers to Nez and Kuji for the support, and the rest of you guys as well. With that said, we'll roll right into wins and losses for the week. I think it's important, no matter what you do, to take a second at certain times and review your past week, your past 2 weeks, and just understand, hey, what were things that I did really well? What were some things that maybe I took an L on, or things that I can improve on? And just understand that we all have wins and losses every week. We're all human, and let's get into what our wins and losses are for the week. I think we start with the losses. So I'm going to start because I was shocked when I went back and listened to the podcast when I was uploading it to iTunes and et cetera, et cetera. I had to go through and put music in the front of it and behind it. I quickly learned that the first 10 words out of my mouth, 7 of them were and It was and that is a huge pet peeve of mine when I'm listening to a speaker, and something that I have taken public speaking courses. I've kind of proud. I was very happy when I was in school that I could speak in front of an audience and not get nervous like some people did. And I would watch videos back, and I was always praised for my ability to just give a regular speech and kind of have fun with it. So when I went back and listened to the ums and the uhs, it drove myself crazy. I had to shut it off right off the bat. It was a minute in, I go, I can't even listen to this because all I'm doing is saying the most evil thing to me that I could ever hear. I had to go back and even watch my Twitch channel to make sure I wasn't doing it live on Twitch, and I was only doing it on the podcast. And I think that was because I was so concerned about filling dead air, and it was our first episode. I wanted to never stop talking and not have any dead space. So hopefully this week we're curbing that. I'm conscious of it. I'm trying to talk naturally, and I think I've done better already. So anyway, that was my big L for the week, and something that I know that I can improve upon, and I'll be excited to see my improvement when I upload this week's episode. With that said, what was your L of the week?
I'm gonna bring the L back to the end of my the last podcast. I mentioned that my electrician was coming over, and he did. And the L is more really for him, but it also made me feel really bad. So my electrician has a really tragic backstory. He had a really horrible situation happen in his life recently, and unfortunately, it was. I don't want to get into his personal details, but he's just going through a lot. And he came over. He's just an amazing guy, and he's actually become a friend. And he came over to help me out, do some projects, and he went onto my porch to install some things on my porch, and he got attacked terribly by yellow jackets and got stung all over while he was at my house. And so this poor guy's gone through a lot in life, and then he shows up and he's helping me out, and he gets stung, and I had to kind of
Oh
administer.
no.
I know, I didn't administer first aid to him. And the poor, I was like, he just does not need any more bad luck. And unfortunately that happened. So I felt really bad because I didn't know I had a yellow jacket issue. So it wasn't like it was my fault, but it still felt really bad. And especially for somebody going through a lot of pain and suffering, and to have one more thing happen. And then he comes in my house, and I was holding my cat, and my cat's old and he's not super healthy at the moment. And I'm carrying the cat, and I'm trying to help him, and I put the cat down, and the cat just like went into like a weird little, almost like a little seizure. So then he gets upset because he's a huge animal lover. So he's like, oh my God, the cat has to be okay. Because now he's upset about being stung by a bee. He's worrying about my cat. The whole thing was just a nightmare. The cat is fine, by the way. His name is Otis. We introduced him last week. He's not here, I don't think, or I would pick him up to the camera, but he's my lovely best buddy, and he is fine. But he does have some health issues, and every once in a while he has some little, we'll call them little episodes. So, so I doubly freaked out this poor guy who's going through a lot of things. But I did administer a little first aid, gave him some ice and some things to help him, and he's fine. The cat's fine, but it was an L.
The poor guy is just coming over to help out. He's had a really rough couple weeks, and now he's
Really
getting
rough
attacked
time.
by yellow jackets on the front porch.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
feel
it's
terribly
not
as well.
funny. I feel really bad for him, but
No,
just
awful.
the scene of knowing how all that took place. Oh my gosh. So
It's really tragic.
what is the status? Are the bees gone?
We'll find out. The exterminator came today, and he's like, it might take a week. And so I'm like, to the texting the exterminator, my friend, like, I mean, sorry, the electrician, my friend, like, let's just wait. Like, let's push this off a little. So hopefully they're gone. I mean, I'm gonna make sure they're gone. I'll get attacked before I'll let him get attacked again. So I'll just go out there and
Oh
bash the
no.
ceiling of my porch. I'm hardy. I can take a few bee stings.
Put on the hazmat suit, take out the golf club,
I'll
swing
just
away.
cover myself in bags and go out there.
Oh my gosh, so unfortunate though. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah,
That's
no,
crazy.
it's awful. It's honestly, it made me feel so bad. And then on top of it, he's a huge animal lover, and he donates a lot of money to the animal shelter in town. And then he got so upset and he got down on his hands and knees. He's like, "Oh, I can't take any more sadness. I hope your cat's okay." And I'm like,
Oh
"I'm
no.
no." He actually, it was awful. I'm like, "No, he's fine. Look, his eyes are open. He's good." He just has some, he's just not healthy. He's old. He's an old cat, and I just keep him going. But he's fine.
Good.
He's, yeah.
Holy smokes. I can't wait.
I'm
So,
sorry.
week 1, we're dousing the house in live chicken juice. Week 2, we're attacking people with yellow jackets on the front porch. We're not even into October yet. I can't wait for what the next one's going to be.
You never know with me.
Do you
There's
live
always a story.
do you live on Clinton Road?
Very close. It could be the reason why. We'll have to talk about that another time.
Talk about
The
that.
infamous.
Look at the teaser on the Clinton Road, the horror in October. I like it. I
Mhm.
like it. All right. So let's transfer over into the W's of the week. I will let you go first on the W's since you went last on the L's.
Okay. Well, I guess that, I mean, you have to go with the W that we did our very first podcast. And I'd have to say it was a learning experience. I felt really awkward. I felt like I looked really awkward. Luckily, most people are just listening. I think I sounded less awkward than I looked. But it was really just wonderful to see the support we got, and it was a fun learning experience. It's something new for me. I do a lot of videos in general in my career, but it's different. It's really different because you're just kind of you're not something pre-planned. So it was interesting. I mean, we had a little 15-minute pre-planning, but it was a really good learning experience, and just seeing the outpouring of support that we got from our community, from Twitch, and in general, just how much how many great comments we got, and learning how to do this has been a great experience. So I call it a W, even if it's not like the greatest podcast ever created in the history of man.
I agree. It was a total W, and I think you're very warranted for saying so. And I will back you up. Not totally my W. It's almost the same W, but in thanking the community for the support, tremendous support. Just being there for the
Yeah.
first one, it was really bizarre. It was really bizarre to do. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was different than what I expected. But it came out good, and I think it's a good thing. So I agree. That's a good W for the week. My W is going to kind of relate to that. It's associated with our Twitch audience, and one of the things that happened over the week, it's kind of twofold, but it all lumps into streamer growth. So I like to think that I took some steps this week with the stream. I first obtained a capture card. I've been playing a game called Ghost of Tsushima, and that
Tsushima.
Tsushima. And I was playing via remote play. I'm not going to get into the technical details, but I was playing via remote play on the PS4 because it made it really simple. I realized the game has amazing graphics, and I wasn't really taking advantage of that in the stream. So, due to the support of a lot of the people in my chat, I was able to obtain a capture card. The capture card made a huge difference. It was super easy to use. Hooked it up. It almost worked like plug and play. So I think it brought a better experience to Tsushima on Tuesday night, and was really enjoyable. And it was actually a better experience for me even playing the game on there. So it was a big W obtaining that card and seeing how the stream was better because of it. I did have one little issue that was a tiny little L, and that my soundboard didn't work, but that's something that I just didn't foresee and is easily fixable.
I don't think I'd call that an L. I would call that a little learning curve.
Just a tiny little. We did it last minute and tried to hook it up. So if we don't have the soundboard, we don't have the soundboard. But along with that too, I mentioned streamer growth. Had a couple of really great comments out there from people. One of them was Davyud, who was somebody who wasn't normally in my stream. He came over at the recommendations of Nez to pop over. He made this outstanding comment. He was in the stream, then he left for a little bit, and he came back, as people often do. We're watching a million streams out there. But he comes back and he says, I'm going to quote him, "I made the mistake of leaving the stream to go check out other small streams, and this one guy was literally freaking begging me for donations and subs. Really makes me appreciate streamers like you." And it stopped me for a second from even playing the game to make me realize that, yeah, I would never do that. And also made me understand there are people out there that are begging for that. And I don't think that's the right approach to take. So I felt it as a personal W that somebody out there recognized the fact that I'm not on here to take people's money, and I'm not on here for the money. I'm on here for the community. And for him to say something like that and then to follow the stream, I hope he's back in more streams and we get to talk and learn more about him. And that's what streaming is all about. So I took that to heart as a big W. And I kind of lumped that in with, I grew the stream a little bit through some people. I invited an old friend from Atlanta back who has a very successful stream now. We have a Nashville group. Made a connection with one of them. They're over kind of into the stream now. So it was a successful week. I think we did really well with growing the stream. And when we grow one of our communities, we grow all of the communities, because we end up hitting everybody else's stream. If you come to mine, you end up in Nez's, you end up in Sweets, you end up in Zooted, where the whole community grows as a whole. So a personal W and kind of went on for the whole community. So I was really happy about that. So good.
It just goes to show you're doing the right thing.
We hope so. We'll see. We will trudge forward. We will trudge forward and move on. But I did mention this kind of leads into the next category we want to talk about. We've got a main topic for each week. This week, the main topic, we're just going to call it Twitch Talk. And we don't want to dominate every week with just talking about Twitch, but this week was a really good segue into talking about this. And the whole reason that it came up is we did have questions from the Twitch community in our Discord. And one of the questions that came up for me, and we're going to incorporate these questions throughout the rest of the show this week. The first question we had was specifically for me. And Nez out there asked, what was your thinking process when you first started streaming on Twitch? Looking back, was it as what you were thinking it would be? So I thought that was a really interesting question. And it made me go back and think about why I even pressed a button to go live. Initially, when I did it, I pressed a button on the PS4 back in the Fortnite days when Fortnite first came out, just to go, wonder what this will do. And I pressed it, and I had the camera set up, and I was sitting in my chair in the living room, and the PS4 was on, and I played Fortnite for like 2 hours, and the viewer was me. That was it. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I guess we know how this works now. Good on those guys. But then for whatever reason, I was trying to remember how it even started, but somehow I found Dan Giesling on Twitch. I think I might have been looking for a game. I really don't know, and I wish I could remember, but I just can't. But I did find him, and if you don't know Dan Giesling, he was on the American version of Big Brother, a reality TV show. He won Big Brother once. He was infamous for hosting his own funeral on the show, which is one of the brilliant things you've ever seen. If you've never seen Big Brother, download season 10 and watch it. It's an amazing experience. But Dan was always my favorite player, and he was on Twitch. So I jumped on his Twitch, and I was incredibly amazed at what was going on his channel. And I found myself, as soon as I clicked, 3 hours later, I was still watching him, and I had never watched the channel like that before. And I was entertained. I was entertained just by what he was presenting, how he was putting on a show. Chat was kind of interacting amongst themselves. He would shout out chat, but he wasn't reading every single line. It's impossible. He had 1,500 people in there. Chat scrolling by. He can't do it. But he was making acknowledgments, and he was involving chat in a lot of unique ways. And I thought, wow, that's special. This reminds me of watching a TV show in the early 90s and then jumping onto Reddit or to some forum to try to discuss with people what was going on. That the show Lost. I watched Lost, and I had to talk about the show afterwards. I'd go in there and go on forums and discuss it. This was a live way to do that, and I thought, wow, what a unique experience. I wonder if I could do that. So, so we tried it,
And you did.
and we did. The pandemic was kind of a perfect opportunity to really say, okay, let's do this for a while and see what happens. And it first started with that one night somebody popped in. I was playing a game called Disco Elysium, and a guy from the United Arab Emirates pops in. And he watches my stream, and we have this conversation for 3 hours. And it reminded me of, okay, I'm not Dan. I'm not a celebrity, but we're having the same experience I had watching Dan. This guy's having watching me. This is what it's all about. And if I was still sitting here today streaming and it was just he and I talking, it's a success because it's entertainment. It's socializing with somebody. So that's kind of where it ended up. So I guess to answer the question, now that I've talked about it for 5 minutes and haven't really given an answer, that was the thinking process. Was it what I thought it was going to be? Absolutely not. It's 20,000 times better than what I thought it was going to be. And I will say that if you're a streamer out there and you have one viewer, keep streaming, because eventually somebody's going to come along. And if you're doing the right thing, you're going to get an audience. And as soon as you get an audience, all it takes for me, all it took was a Nez. And I know we're shouting him out a lot tonight, but all it took is the one guy to say, I like what you're doing. Thanks for watching. And I immediately go, okay, I want to check this guy out. Now, a month and a half later, we've got this massive community of people, and it's the best thing ever. So if you're out there, keep streaming. And I hope that answers the question, Nez, as to what I thought, how I got to where I am in a nutshell, and what I thought it was going to be. It's become so much better that I couldn't ask for anything more.
But I mean, I think in fairness, you draw the people. You will attract the viewers and the community based on what you're putting out there, which is, so I think you've done a really good job of that. Creating this really nice open space for a lot of interesting and wonderful people to feel very comfortable to come in and chat, because it's not always comfortable to jump into some foreign, chat, whether it's Twitch or any other kind of social forum. So you've made it, I think, probably a very safe space, just as not to use that term because I know it's a crummy term. It's been overused, but it is, because people are friendly and you've attracted the right people, and Nez has, and obviously, and all the people in the community.
So here's the kind of take on that too, is I've been a gamer. I've grew up with a computer. I've always played video games, always. So I have that natural attraction to, if I do watch a Dan Giesling, I'm there for him. I'm also watching it. He plays Tarkov. I bought Tarkov because he played it. That's the whole reason I have Tarkov. I'm curious your thoughts as someone who did not grow up. You didn't grow up like me, where I was tied to a video game almost all of my life. You weren't. I know you've had exposure into maybe the Stardew Valleys or some of the kind of games of the world, and I know your kids have grown up with games and play games, but I'd be interested to see what your take is on what is your experience. What do you look for? Why do you watch, and how do you choose who you're going to watch on Twitch?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Ask.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. For me, there's a couple different things. Well, obviously, not being a gamer myself, I mean, not any serious way. Um, I clearly am not watching to learn gameplay, at least not yet. I mean, unless I'm just secretly a gamer and you guys don't know, but
Uh oh,
I'm really
the truth is
not.
out.
But honestly, I'm not. So, for me, and I just did the sorry. Your pet
We're
peeve.
all conscious of it. I haven't noticed, so it's
Oh
totally fine.
my, oh goodness. Well, when you're trying to, sometimes, yeah, it's that dead air that you don't want to, you're trying to fill.
It's tough.
Anyway, yes. So I would say, first of all, it's just interesting. I like the story-driven games, and I actually find them entertaining. And watching a streamer's reaction to a game, whether it's a scary game or just an emotional game, it's kind of fun. It is entertainment. And then you have the whole other aspect of chat where you're interacting and you're discussing what's happening. So it is interactive. It is, like you said, watching a TV show or a movie and then having instant people to discuss it with. And that's something that right now during the pandemic is missing just in real life in general. There's not a lot of social interaction in real life, and so that gives you that community feeling and gives you some interesting entertainment, and it's real people. So it's not this weird, like, ethereal celebrity world either. So you've got this wonderful real human beings sharing their lives and sharing their stories. And that kind of takes me to the next thing I like, which is finding a community, finding people that you connect with on some level. Obviously, I'm not young, I'm not a gamer. I know, shocker, but having this ability to connect with people and hear their stories, and they're international and they're based all over the world, and some are younger, some are just a little less younger. But it's like today I was listening to one of my favorite streamers, and he does story time at the end of his streams. This is a little shout out to Ty the Rogue. And he just gives a really personal, heartfelt discussion at the end of his streams. And it's really heartwarming because, it's nice to hear about young people and their thoughts and feelings on the world. I, of course, have my own kids who are at the ages of the streamers, most of them, besides Jesus Gojo. But, but they're not here with me, and I would say it's just nice to see all of the positivity, the good vibes, the heartfelt stories, the just the humanity of it is pretty cool. And that's something I really didn't understand, because I just really kind of got hooked into this during the pandemic as another outlet to get my eyes into the world. I'm used to traveling and I can't travel. I'm used to going out and hearing bands and doing all this stuff, and I can't do any of that. So this was just a wonderful little outlet that opened my eyes to this whole world. And so that's pretty much it for me. And maybe I will start actually gaming. We'll see.
And I don't. That's awesome, and I appreciate that story time. I've watched Ty the Rogue as well, and I think it's a great segment of his show. And I think you're dead on. It's why you go to some of those streams, to really get personal with the person who's streaming, and you feel like you're a part of everything, and you feel good. For a lack of a better word, you just feel good being there and knowing that you're interacting with somebody. Is there anything I don't know if you've watched any of the major streamers, or if you've ever went into a stream and then noped out and said, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm not feeling this vibe." And I don't want to call anybody out and mention any names, but
No.
where no one is everyone's ideal streamer. So I'm just curious your thoughts on what have you seen out there that
Um,
maybe you didn't like, that drew you away and said, I don't like this type of channel.
I actually think it probably, I won't call any streamers out.
Yeah,
It
no.
won't be. But I really think, and I just did, but I really think
You're more conscious of it than I am. I didn't even hear
I
that.
am now. I know. Is that funny? So anyway, I originally, going back, before I actually started getting involved in any kind of a Twitch community, my kids would be watching streamers and I just didn't understand. I'm like, you're watching somebody else play a game you like? I don't get it. And so I would just sit and listen in with them for a bit. And a lot of the big time streamers that I would say that the kids, at least my kids, listen to, I don't understand. I don't get. I don't think they're that entertaining. I would much rather listen to you or any number of people who I currently listen. Everybody that I currently listen to, I would tune into because I feel like it's a little bit more real and it's uh I don't know, it's just more authentic. I mean, I'm sure to the kids and the people who, the 170,000 followers that some of these big streamers have, I guess they're authentic to them. But to me, I didn't get it. So for whatever it's worth, I tend to like more of I don't know, the authenticity of the people that I follow. And I think you can tell an authentic person. And it doesn't mean they have to be a perfect person. It doesn't mean that I have to be upbeat and vibing every single time. I just think it's the authenticity. So that's what I found. So if I feel somebody's not authentic and they're just there, you know, trying to scam for viewers, then I'm just noping out.
Nope, and now done. And like you said, it's not. There's something for everyone, and there's obviously a massive audience for people that are like that. That maybe you have just a different, unique personality that you don't jive with, or that are there to play game, and maybe people want to understand. I want to know how to be the best at Fortnite. I'm going to watch this guy build Fortnite shelters for 4 hours and figure out how to play the game. And I think
Right.
it's something different for everyone. So yeah, it's interesting. I appreciate your take on that. And I'm also surprised. It's amazing that people can make an entire living out of this. People have quit their jobs and they're getting
Yeah. It's incredible.
bank paychecks, and this is their main job, not any kind of side thing at all. So that's amazing. And
It's
speak
very cool.
speaking of jobs, this kind of leads us into one of the other questions that we received this week, and it's for you, and it's for Nez, and it's a specific question related to your job. So
My
he
job.
he asks, how did you start getting into what you do? You're a Pilates instructor. I'll leave it that an additional request about a 1 minute stretch, but let's start with how did
Start
you
with.
how did you get into doing what you do? How did you become an instructor?
um I started with uh for me I was in corporate America for a very long time, and there was nothing wrong with corporate America, but I also was, I don't know if you know this, Gojo.
Uh,
I was a runner.
I did not know.
I
Well,
was a runner.
make a note for a future podcast.
Yeah, something related to running. So, in training for marathons, half marathons, and other such races, I injured myself um, pretty badly. I mean, not badly, badly, that seems extreme. I injured myself to a point where I was having trouble running. And so I was recommended to do Pilates. And that is when I found Pilates. I had done it before, but that's when I really found the benefits of it in terms of almost like a physical therapy type of an exercise. So when you do something that is repetitive, and this might get boring for everybody, when you do something that's repetitive in your musculature and you're doing it over and over and over again, like running or golf or any other kind of activity, your muscles become unbalanced, and Pilates helps you rebalance them. And it's very functional and it's very safe and it's extremely effective. So I promise that is true. So if you have any issues, you can reach out to me through Discord and I will get you in touch with a really good Pilates instructor. But so I found it that way, and it did help to rehabilitate me so I could continue to do what I loved at the time, which was running. And then I ended up deciding to get certified, and I went through, oh gosh, 2, 3 years, maybe more of training. It's almost like getting a college degree, at least here, and started teaching. And then briefly went back to the corporate world and realized, what am I doing? And flipped back to Pilates full time and ended up hooking up with a wonderful studio, a wonderful instructor who had this vision and dream to create this Pilates studio that was very welcoming to all ages and to all physical abilities. So we work with a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds. And I did it again. And it's been wonderful. So it has been life changing, not sitting at a desk all day, working the corporate grind and being able to help people. That's kind of my main thing. So that's how I found it. I found it through my own need. So you find something, you take a passion and then you follow it through and hopefully make the world a little bit better.
I
Not saving the world, but
I think it's interesting You mentioned the process and what it took to get certified. So this wasn't a 2 hour class at a local gym and bam, you're an instructor.
No. Not to be a fully certified Pilates instructor. It's anatomy classes, anatomy and physiology classes, and then it's years of training, apprenticing, and a lot of practicums, a lot of exams until you finally get your full certification. I'm actually doubly certified, almost triply certified now, through multiple different certification methodologies just to get as much knowledge as I can. I'm currently working in more of the rehabilitative Pilates. So I have a lot of patients, sorry, I'm not a doctor, a lot of clients who were patients of physical therapists who get sent to me, and we work through everything. I work with, I have a program where I teach cancer survivors who are going through treatment, and that's all free for them. Obviously, they don't need any other stress in their life. But we also have people coming off pretty massive surgeries, reconstructive surgeries, back surgeries, you name it. Anything you can imagine. We have people with MS, Parkinson's, and all different sorts of things that they're warriors. They're hard working, amazing people who get out of bed every day with more pain and discomfort than any of us can imagine, and decide they're going to give an hour of their time to me. And I try to help them have a happier, healthier life as best I can. So that's kind of what I do and what keeps me going, because sometimes I get kind of cranky and complain about things and feel bad about myself, or feel bad about, a little ache or pain that I might have. And then I realize there are people going through really major things, and they'll still come to me and want to work out to try to make their day just a little bit better. So I feel very fortunate to do what I do.
That's amazing. And I will vouch, and spoiler alert, I may or may not have taken a Pilates class that AB may or may not have taught before. And completely surprised. And that's why I wanted you to talk about the certification, because when you go to a certified Pilates instructor, they know what they're doing. It is not to try to relate it to somebody who had never done it before prior to having met you. And it did help with running, amazingly enough. That was the exercise plan, which we'll get into in another episode. But it was you're running your miles, you're doing some cross training, and then you're strengthening your core, which was what Pilates was. But for anybody out there, you might have an instructor that says do sit-ups, and so they tell you do 10 sit-ups, and you do 10 sit-ups, and they might tell you no, you got to keep your feet flat on the floor. Well, a Pilates instructor, they don't do sit-ups, but if they were going to do a sit-ups, it would be no, your shoulders are in this place, your spine should be elongated, your core should be engaged. When you come up, you go, it's a narrative to every single, it's so precise. I may have heard it many times, so. But it's amazing.
I think maybe you have a new career path, because those are literally all the actual correct things to say. So, well done.
Well, thank you. But yeah, it's intense, and it's something that if you really focus on it, it benefits you tremendously, more than I think a lot of some of the other disciplines out there for doing exercise, which I won't get into that. With that said, the exercise, we talked about that. The second part of the question was, is there a super easy, quick 1 minute stretch for those of us always sitting in our chairs? We are streamers. We are people who watch stream. We are executives now who are sitting at home, rolling out of bed, sitting at a desk.
Yeah,
we're not moving around like we used to. So what do you got? What's a quick 1 minute tip that we could all do? We can all do right now as we're either sit. If you're lying in a bed listening to the podcast, get up. If you're sitting on the couch, get off the couch. If you're sitting there right now,
no,
let's
stay in your seat.
We can stay seated. All right, I'll let you take over.
You can stay seated. The thing is, what's happened in the world we live in with technology, it's actually something called text neck. We're actually reversing the curvature of our neck. So if you think about your neck, it should be this way, and we're starting to get this way, right? So you want to think about always keeping, and oh my goodness, something weird happened on my computer. I can't see. Okay, sorry. So you want to think about drawing your shoulders down your back. So when those of you watching video, a lot of people end up like this, really hunchy. So you want to think about sliding your shoulders gently down your back, You want to draw your abdominals in. So imagine your belly button just pulling in a little closer to your spine. Take a nice deep breath. Think about your ribs knitting together. So almost like cinching in, right? So you're using your abdominals to make everything a little deeper. And then you're just going to breathe through that. And let's just do a little neck stretching. You want to draw your ear down to your shoulder. You want to try to keep the alignment, right? Ear to the shoulder. It's hard, it hurts. And then come up. And you want to go to the other side. It doesn't matter which side you start on. I'm not picky that way. And then as you're doing that, make sure the other shoulder isn't hiking up, right? So a lot of times we do this when we drop over, right? You want to keep alignment. Good. And you want to sit nice and tall again, and then look over one shoulder, turn your head, but don't twist your body, right? Keep everything else in alignment. The spine stays elongated. And then you're going to look over to the other side. It's going to be amazing how much better you feel when you're done with this. Come back to center. Keep breathing. Take a nice big inhale. Reach those arms behind you. You can get them right behind your chair, hopefully. If you're on a couch, if you have to scooch forward, you can. My chair is really big. And then stretch the arms behind you, right? So clasp the hands. Those of you on bigger chairs, you can't. You got to turn and you got to stretch and draw the shoulders away from your ears. I just cracked like 4 vertebrae back there. Feel good. Good. Release it.
I'm sweating.
And then you're just going to finally roll those shoulders down and back a few times. And then try to remember that. Try to do that like once an hour. I'm not even kidding. It won't take long. You don't have to do all of them, but do some of them, right? Turn your head, rotate your head, because we got really locked into position when you're on the computer a lot. I found that when I was teaching virtually a lot, I was very locked in. I ended up having neck pain that I didn't have before. So just attempt, if you can, to do a few of those things, right? This is not Pilates. This is just general how you should be living your life. Pilates, we can get into a whole nother day.
Noted. And you do, it's amazing just that little bit of movement. Number one, I'm sweating, and number two, you start to feel better. And I think we do. There's a lot of us out there that do try to incorporate something like that into our streams. We got a stretch break or a posture break, but it's good to know what we're doing, because sometimes you just think posture, all right, just means I need to sit up, but you're not really doing anything there. So
you want to pull your abdominals in when you sit up, right? The abdominals tend to weaken, and we don't draw them in. So it's really just pulling your belly button gently into your spine, and you just feel like that changes your posture immediately. And I always like to think about slide your shoulders down into your back pockets, right? So a lot of times we're here, slide them into the back pockets and just relax. And keep your collarbones nice and wide. Think about lengthening through here. That's all it is.
Slide the shoulders into the back pockets. I got that one. Thank you for the soundbite, by the way. Coming soon on the Skojo soundboard.
Slide the shoulders into the back pockets. Okay.
So, and I think that's also, I mean, that's kind of what it's like in Pilates too, right? It's like a flow where you're transitioning from one thing to another, and it kind of reminds me of a movie, which will lead us into the final segment of the night, and then we've got a Q&A question that we'll answer. But when I think of flow, and I think of focusing and relaxing, if you're doing it already, show me paint a fence, wax on, wax off, Mr. Miyagi. I mean, who wasn't doing this, who saw the movie when we were growing up? If you haven't seen the movie and have no idea what we're doing right now, for those of you listening, wax on, wax off, show me paint a fence, Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san. We're reminded of the Karate Kid. Not what was the most recent Karate Kid? It had a different. It had
Will Smith's kid?
Yeah, it was Will Smith's kid. Yeah, Will Smith's kid. I saw it, and it was a great movie, but it wasn't the OG. The OG out there, the original Karate Kid, incredible
Ralph
movie.
Macchio.
Ralph Macchio was the man. He's taken on Cobra Kai, the evil guys. They're fighting over the girl in the middle of everything. What a fantastic 80s film. If you haven't seen it, you've got to go see it. If you've seen it, you know what we're talking about. Well, our recommendation for the week, if you don't know about it, is a series called Cobra Kai. And let me tell you my thoughts on Cobra Kai, and I'll kick it over to you. Cobra Kai was a blast from the past. Literally one of the best couple seasons of episodic television, or whatever you want to call it now, streaming, that I've seen. Period. It is so much fun. It is lighthearted. It is well put together.
Yes.
It tells the story of the two enemies in the first movie, Daniel's son, and now I forget the Cobra.
Johnny.
Johnny.
His name's
Yeah,
Johnny.
Johnny from Cobra Kai. You got the evil Cobra Kai and the great Miyagi and Daniel. It's their lives after this and how they've progressed. And Daniel is a car dealer. Johnny is a banquet course drinking kind of loser guy. But they both have their issues with their family. They're having their challenges with their kids growing up. Their kids are getting into karate. I'm not going to spoil a lot of things, but it has these flashbacks to the original Karate Kid movie, and they're not jokes that'll go by you. They actually reference the movie. So if somebody says, "Oh, it reminds me of a guy I once knew," they'll actually show a scene from the original movie, and then you get to see that scene play out in the Cobra Kai.
That's
It
the
is
cool thing.
it is fantastic. I probably just stole every bit of thunder of talking about it, but what are your thoughts on Cobra Kai?
No, I think it's a perfect mix of a little bit of nostalgia, which for us old folks, the 80s was like our time. So it does have a little 80s nostalgia, but it's still set in the modern time. But you do get the 80s, rock music. And I think it kind of flips the script a little bit in terms of this, like the original movie was just pure, like tried to set up this purely good versus evil. And then you realize there's a lot of, as you mature, you also learn there's way more layers in life to just easily a black and white good versus evil. There's a lot of gray area. And I think that it does a really good job at exposing all the gray areas in the original story, or at least creating them, maybe, from the mythology of it. And I think from that perspective, it's wholesome, truly is, and it's fun and it's uplifting. And during these times when things are kind of depressing and everything's really heavy, all the TV shows are even heavy. I want something I'm not going to watch and then have a nightmare about later. So it's just a wholesome, fun, lighthearted, easy to watch, short episode. What is it, 30 minutes max, 25
Yep.
minutes, something like that. And for me, it was just a very funny, fun, nostalgic. But I think it would appeal to younger people as well. I mean, I can't speak for them, but I think if you've ever just seen Karate Kid or any, high school good guy versus the bad guy, the popular guy versus the, down on his luck guy movies, where you have this, epic battle of good versus evil, and you flip it on its head and you start to question who really is the good guy, who really is a bad guy. Is anybody ever, there's people are more layered than that. And I love that about it. I mean, that makes it probably way more philosophical than it was meant to be, or maybe not, but that's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree. It is. It's so well written and it's so well done. In the end, I kind of liked everyone. Kind of. I say kind of because I'm not going to spoil anything, but you like all of these people, and you realize, like you said, you realize there's more to it.
Yeah.
It does a tremendous job with twists and turns. One episode to another, you think, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is going to happen now. What's going to happen? But it keeps that lighthearted, easy tone. I think it's a great point that it's a great watch. It's a tremendously easy watch. If you haven't seen it, this one is on Netflix now, so you can watch the entire series on Netflix.
Helpful.
Yeah, it used to be on YouTube. Yeah, it was on YouTube Premium. Now it's good to go. Season 3 is coming out in 2021. If there's anyone from Cobra Kai who's listening, and we just plugged your show, man, if you want to give us the inside deets on season 3, we'll appreciate it. But anyway,
or be a guest.
yeah, if you want to be a guest on the show, I guarantee we'll increase viewership. We'll put the chair here and we'll just let you talk, and it'll go through the roof.
You in the chair.
Story for another day.
We're probably terrible interviewers. We don't know what we're doing at all, but please, by all means, you're welcome to come. I feel like maybe 5 years ago we could have got Ralph Macchio without really much.
Before he got back into things, yeah.
I think we could have actually got him on here. He's probably just hanging out, waiting for someone to call him. You want to come on our podcast? Sure.
He would have been like, yeah, he'll talk about Karate Kid all day.
Paint the fence. He'd be painting the fence.
He comes in, just starts painting your wall. No, stop. He's cutting your trees, snipping all the leaves off of them. Which I never really understood until the scene in Karate and Cobra Kai where he explained it.
Yeah,
I was
that would have been
kind of
helpful.
blown away. Yeah, I was like, wow. All right.
There wasn't a lot of backstory in the original Karate Kid. They had a lot of stuff to get through
Yeah.
to get to that final battle. And I will say, just before we leave this topic, if you ever want to see something rather humorous, and I do believe I shared it with you recently, there's a video out there from a movie critic, and I forget his name, and I feel super bad because you know what? He's way more popular than this podcast, and I feel bad I forget his name, but was Daniel the real bad guy in Karate Kid, and it flips the whole script, and it's actually very entertaining and funny because he actually uses little clips from the original movie showing how Johnny wasn't as bad as he was made out to be, and it was actually really humorous. I found it funny anyway, so worth googling. Sorry, I don't have a
we'll put it.
or anything.
We will throw it in our Discord if you have access to our Discord,
We have
which we will put in the show notes under the podcast. Our Discord link. We will post a link to that video because it was great. You showed it to me, and it was totally like, wait a minute, I have to go back and watch the movie now because maybe
it
maybe
makes
it was
you want to go back
switched.
and be like, wait, did we miss everything? Like, was there a little?
All right.
Were we all duped by Karate Kid? What?
So great, so great.
Mr. Miyagi was the aggressor, beating up teenagers or something like that, which is kind of funny. But
Johnny was the good guy and just got taken advantage of, and yeah,
yeah.
craziness.
So,
All right,
sorry.
so that's a show of the week, and we want to. Usually, we'll do the Q&A at the end, but the questions really were great this week, and kind of were into the flow of what we wanted to do, so that we incorporated them. But we will end with the last question that we had out there. It is a question for both of us, way more lighthearted. Love seeing you mix up all the drinks from time to time. I don't know if they're calling us alcoholics or not. Drink responsibly, kids, please. Love seeing you mix up drinks all the time. Vodka, tequila, wine, whiskey, etc. How do you choose? And what do you recommend for different occasions? I know for me, I actually pair drinks with my streams. So I have an exclamation mark cheers every time that I go live on Twitch. I try to always have just a drink of choice, just for something kind of fun to do and to be out there.
Yeah.
Definitely
That's pretty
not something we're not shotgunning beers. We're not taking a shot every time I lose to an enemy. It's not that kind of thing. First of all, it's against TOS, and second of all, that's just not my gig. I enjoy the flavor. I enjoyed just having a drink and enjoying the night. And most recently, I paired Ghost of Tsushima with not only sushi but sake. How can you play the game and not have sake? I was so lost last night when I didn't have it. But I think that's how I do it. My main drink of choice is just bourbon. Just give me a rock in a glass, pour a little bourbon in there, just sip it throughout the night, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the taste of it. Not a big beer drinker. I don't stray too much out of that wheelhouse. I do have a red wine from time to time just to mix it up. And then I did buy an absinthe fountain. I do have absinthe every once in a while, but I enjoy the taste. It has a fennel taste to it that I love and enjoy. So again, we're not pouring a bottle in there. We're just having a glass and enjoying it. So for me, it's based on kind of mood, what's going on, what's happening on the stream, and what is kind of fun. So what's your take?
Bottles behind your.
I went.
Glass.
Luckily, we have a recycling thing, so I went and I hoarded some of them from the recycle bin, and we put the lights in them. So
Sure.
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah,
so what do you? How do you know what you're going to enjoy for the evening?
It's my mood. It's my mood. The alcohol matches my mood in my day, I guess. So if it's a chill summer mood, I'm gonna go with tequila. If there's a roaring fire, I'm gonna want a nice glass of a good bourbon or scotch. If I'm going out to a nice dinner, I want a red wine. If I've had a long day, I want a white wine. If I'm having sushi, I want sake. If I'm hanging out with friends, I want maybe a gin. If I've been hanging with my friends way too long and way too late, then I want a Bloody Mary in the morning, and that's about where I am. So yeah,
makes sense. And I also think it's fun too. We've been out to numerous dinners before. I also think it's fun to pair up what you're drinking with the other person as well. So if we go out to dinner and you're like, "Hey, I'm in a martini kind of mood," I will match the drink to match the environment. So a martini is something that's served in a martini glass. It's up. I'll have a Manhattan served up to match the glass. It's a different drink, but it kind of matches the vibe for what's going on. The same way if you're going to get a bottle of red wine, you share the bottle of red wine, and you kind of match the flow for with your friends or with whoever that you're out on the town with. I think it's fun to kind of do that and to share in the experience.
Definitely. And you don't have to drink to get drunk.
You do not have to drink. Yeah, exactly. If
Water is your friend.
Water is the best. We hydrate all the time. Always be hydrating out there. There's nothing
I'm
wrong with water.
But every sticker is alcohol. But this is really water.
But yeah, we will close that with we are not condoning drinking your butt off to get drunk. That's not what it's about. It's a flavor thing, and it's something to enjoy responsibly, just like you would anything else. So be responsible out there. Enjoy the good drinks that are out. If you do have a good drink that you enjoy, we do have a channel for it in our Discord as well. We would love to see what you come up with. We've had a couple people post really great recipes in there that I still want to try. So It's awesome. But I hope that answers the question. And with that, we are right at about an hour. I think that'll wrap up the podcast for this week. Amy, I think this has been fun. It's been a great conversation. I've enjoyed the chat tonight.
I agree. Enjoyed it very much.
So
Thank you so much for all the support, guys.
Yeah, thank you out there for the support. Thank you for the support that you've given us through the podcasting networks. It did take a little longer last week to get the first podcast up because I learned that you had to go through a couple days where they verify what you're going to upload, which I understand. But we are live on all the platforms now, on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever your favorite podcast platform of choice is. We are live on there now. You can search for Over the Hump. You will find us. We'll also put links in the podcast notes as well as in our Discord, so you'll be able to find it. With that said, we'll wrap up this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you guys for hanging out in chat, and we will talk to you again soon. I hope everybody has a great night.
Peace out.
That's a wrap. Close it up. Chat. Whew. How'd it go? We appreciate you guys. We didn't go from 12 to 0 over the course of an hour, so we appreciate you guys hanging out.
Thank you. Yeah, I kept looking. I was like, oh, don't leave us now.
We think we have more content to keep doing this. So, but if you guys, honestly, if you have feedback for us, if there's something you'd like to see, if there's something you'd say, I kind of think you maybe need to do this. Give us criticism. I love it. We would like to make this better.
Wow, that really sucked.
Yeah, that was awful. Why the hell did you do this? I mean, we have thick skin.
Why did you say Amy? Yeah, what? So now I'm so conscientious of it, and
I'm sorry. I didn't think about that of me saying that. Now you're going to think about it because I didn't even hear it until you said that you were doing it.
Okay.
I think
it's not like I didn't know the questions at the time. It was like shocker.
Well,
very good.
Yeah. Well, production did meet with you yesterday. They met with me like 15 minutes before the show tonight to let me know what the topics were. So we were totally off the cuff.
Not true. Not true.
We have a great production crew.
Yeah, our production crew is top notch.
One day we'll have production on the share with us. Yo, Cactus man, thanks for the sub, dude. I'm sorry that the emote explosion is turned off right now. We owe you one. I'll get that to you the next stream. I had to turn off. I apologize, you. I had to turn off the alerts. Actually, I can turn them back on now. I should have done that. I had to turn off the alerts because we record it for the podcast. So
Ness says if he had to take a shot with every he would still be sober. So I'm feeling better.
Oh, well, good.
I called myself out on everyone. I was like, oh, I'm doing it again.
That was hilarious. I'm like, man, I should not have said that because now we're all going to be conscious of it. So I think I replaced my ums with ands, but I have to go back now and figure that out.
I think I did a lot of okays. Okay, so and yeah, whatever.
But I think it it was a learning experience in that you can pause, you can have a bit of dead space for a second, because that's natural conversation, and it makes it sound easier and not as nerve-wracking.
You're supposed to allow a little silence every now and then.
You got to allow your wine to breathe before you drink it.
You got to allow your whiskey to be drank.
We are behind. That's the other thing. It's like, how do you drink while you're doing that?
Somebody's behind. Somebody's not behind. This is my glass.
Amy talking to Chairstream coming soon.
Be healthy, work out, run marathons, drink whiskey.
Yeah. So we'll close the segment tonight. We'll give you a sneak preview. We haven't discussed this yet, but it will be an upcoming topic about running marathons, because we've done it together. There is a progression of, when we ran the first marathon, it was, oh my God, we can only drink water. We drank water for like the 3 days leading up to it, and then we could have fun afterwards.
Which is really impressive.
The last half marathon that we did, I think we dusted 2 bottles of wine. This is just not...
I might have had wine in my hydration pack. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we may or may not have had it on the course of this.
I may or may not have had alcohol on me.
That's a story for another day. It's an epic tune.
There's a lot of stories from running, but you guys might not want to hear them. It might just be only relevant to us. But
Cuddle says, can I ask the question on here? So Cuddle, the answer is yes, you can ask the question on here just about a movie. Yeah.
No,
well, the other part of it is, do you want it to be part of the podcast, or are you just asking a question? Because we can do both. But yes.
Marathon Clinton
we need
Road.
to do we need to do
a marathon.
We need to do the
Road.
Clinton Road 10K.
You could do a Clinton Road half marathon
For charity.
for charity. You have so much left. How do I not? How? He was more talkative. Apparently.
Oh, I was gabbing, and I went first all the time. I gotta not
see
do
me
that.
processing and deciding how much I'm gonna drink.
Do you both remember Warriors of Virtue with the kangaroos? I do not.
Sorry. I might need we. I'm gonna feel bad if I should know it.
I remember
My
that
brain's
Cuddle. It was
old,
terrifying.
My brain's so old.
Now I don't
You
know
have
what to think.
understand.
So now I'm intrigued. Where was the question going? And now that Boom King says it was terrifying, how does that play into everything? Unbelievable.
I've got nothing up here. You have to remember, there's a lot of decades.
I'm shocked you both don't know it.
Deterioration.
Warriors.
There's over 5 decades of brain deterioration happening up here. You're only born with so many brain cells.
All right, so Warriors of Virtue. 1997 fantasy.
Really? I mean, if you were talking Never-Ending Story, I'm all over that.
Oh yeah, I saw Neverending Story 100%. 90s, but in defense of 1997, that was right in the wheelhouse of having other responsibilities in life.
Yeah. 1997. Oh yeah. Oh, I would not remember that. I was very pregnant.
Yeah, it was almost Disney time.
It was Blue's Clues and finding. Yeah, it was Blue's Clues time for me.
You guys laugh at the Katy Perry incident from last night. Quick story, by the way. I go in.
No.
I go in this evening to pick up something from the really dumpy grocery store I have at the corner. I just needed something real quick. I walked in. I swear to God, Katy Perry was playing, and I'm like, no, this will not escape me from wherever I'm at. But she mentioned Blue's Clues. We may have a topic on, let's just say, who was your childhood crush? No. Who was your adult crush on a child story actor? Because someone really had the hots for Steve from Blue's Clues, and it was not me.
Hey, you're stuck in a house with 2 little kids for hours and hours and hours, days. He starts looking pretty good.
This the
I
scary
know.
the scary
Like,
thing is it doesn't end there. Like she knows what he's doing now. So that I don't know what that means.
I think I could date him now. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's doing.
He's
No.
legal. Boom King's like Steve, but why? Cactus. Steve's a straight up hottie.
Yes, right. Look, you know, when you have little kids and you're out of your mind, that's what happens.
Which is what happens when you have kids because you're out of your
You
mind.
lose your mind. And that's why I can't remember anything. But 97 to like 2003 is probably just a blur of not sleeping and changing diapers and all
Agree.
that stuff.
Agree.
Times two for me.
They're just like LOL Katy Perry. I really don't. It's not. There's not a Katy. The honest Katy Perry story is there's this long chain of events where she just always pops up every time I turn the TV on. It's Katy Perry. I watch American Idol for the first time in 5 years, and Katy Perry is a judge. I watch. I don't listen to Katy Perry. She's not in any of the mixes that I've ever created. For 100% for sure. Steve is making it. I have a kid. I don't have the hots for Mrs. Frizzle.
Oh, I was lonely. Stop it.
Lonely. Steve was the man. It was all about Steve.
He was so sweet. He was so nice. He was so good with kids.
That he was. Obviously, he was doing something right. He must have targeted the moms.
Like dogs.
And he got to the kids through the moms.
I was not the only one, by the way. I'm just gonna say there was also one of the Wiggles that was not that. There was one Wiggle.
Oh, what?
Wow, definite production. We're talking about this on a future episode. We're 100% talking about this. Holy smokes, a Wiggle. just one Wiggle, not all four. Was it the tall guy that did a lot of the crazy stuff? Like the kind of the lead?
don't know.
Was it the lead Wiggle?
Yeah. No. Right. It was just one.
I'm dying to know which one now. Can we get the Wiggle? Can we pull a picture of the Wiggles to find
Google
out?
Oh my god.
Wow.
Welcome to my world.
That's a new one. Didn't know that one. Oh man.
I'm looking at the pictures and I'm not sure.
You don't even remember which one. Boom King. What I'm hearing is that I need to become a children's program host. that's what it's at. It's 100% weirded out.
That's how you get the old cougars.
That's hilarious.
Oh, he was the blue shirt guy.
Uh-oh. All right, everybody Google Wiggles.
Blue shirt. OG though. There's been 30 Wiggles, I think.
Oh, not that guy.
I'm pretty sure it was that guy. I could be wrong.
With
I
the shorter spiky hair, like the clean cut guy. Why is there a picture of a girl in the? I don't remember a girl being in the Wiggles.
That's what I'm saying. You're probably looking at a new Wiggles picture. You have to go OG Wiggle.
All right, I'm going wake up Jeff era Wiggles, and I'm looking at the blue shirt
Yes,
guy.
wake up, Jeff.
I'm glad it's not the guy in the red. I thought it was going to be the guy in the yellow, but that makes sense. I mean, if you're looking at all four of the Wiggles, and you had to pick one, the guy in the blue shirt is definitely the one that you would have to go with. Boom King becomes a Wiggle. He's going to have a blue shirt on tomorrow. No one has to pick one, Skojo. Topic next week. You got to pick one of the Wiggles. Who is it? Roll the dice. Now we can, yeah.
No, I turned it off on purpose. I was laughing way too hard. And
Boom King is adamant. No one has ever had to pick a Wiggle. Oh, that's great. Oh man. All right. Okay. On that note, we're gonna wrap. Speaking of Wiggles, who are we gonna raise? Oh man,
That went way off the rails, and I apologize. It's
that
all
was
my fault
awesome.
because that all got drunk.
Well, but it also is a topic for a future podcast because there's some funny ones out there.
Yeah.
All right, who do you? So on my list of people we can raid, I've got Mischief, who I did raid last night, who was playing World of Warcraft. I also have Tyloo, who is upstairs, who is also playing World of Warcraft, who's probably
Just go knock on the door and tell him. Yeah. He's vibing.
doing his thing.
He's vibing to his fish or whatever he's listening to.
So look, I want to raid somebody. Do you guys have an opinion if we go after Mischief or Tyloo? You guys have an opinion there? Anybody you want to chat with? They're not going to say anything. They're going to be like, no, I don't want either of them. Just kidding. Let's do someone different. Actually, let's go over Boom King singing and dancing on stream. Wiggles are on Twitch, right? Can we raid the Wiggles? Can we find this guy? Can we find the Blue Wiggle? That's probably his name, Blue Wiggle. He's at the Blue Wiggle.
My name could have been higher. He might not be so disappointed. He might be somebody like a very sad, desperate mom.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
All right. If you guys would indulge me, let's have a little fun. I have a raid message, but I want to do a different raid message. I want to do this raid message.
Boom. Oh my god.
Okay, so we're gonna do a raid. That's the raid message right there. Are you? It'll spur a conversation, and I think he can roll with it. So I'm gonna raid. I did it last night. I want to do it. I want to raid him again tonight because he's new to the community, and I'd like you guys to meet him if you haven't already. He's not nude. He's new.
Kind of sound like you said, Nate.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we're gonna give a little raiderino over to Mischief Maker. He's playing Warcraft again, but let's go give him a little bit of love, and we'll see what he's up to here. Thank you guys again. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
More than you guys know.
Yeah, you guys have no idea.
New and nude. All right.
We'll continue this over there. All right, let's go. Thank you guys. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right, I gotta stop.
Oh.
Hang on.